I would say our fridge has been empty the entire 6 years that we've been together.
We've gone to the food bank a few times.
Our phone rings constantly. There's payment arrangements to be made every day.
The credit people are starting to run out of patience with us.
We fight about which bills or whose bills should be paid first.
We start to feel bad about ourselves and we start taking it out on each other.
That's pretty frightening because how are we ever going to have a future?
Get any lower, we won't be able to live here anymore because we can't afford the rent.
We're very close to being homeless.
Money, 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 money.
I get paid on Friday. We're usually broke by Sunday.
We're so bad with our money that the landlord came today looking for the rent and we can only give half.
No, I just had enough to get to work and back.
You mean we don't have anything?
I work at a spa. Krystal works at a 4-star restaurant.
I think together we make roughly about $50,000.
I feel ashamed that I'm 31 years old and I'm in this situation. There's nothing.
I spend a lot of time floating from foster home to foster home and never really having any, role models.
Krystal has a son from a previous marriage.
He tends to visit with us about 6 times, 7 times a year.
We have to use a credit card every, visit to fly Jake in from the East Coast.
I would love to buy a bed for my son to put in the spare room.
I haven't been able to get Krystal a birthday gift for 2 years.
Chris refuses to deal with the bills.
I don't even go to the mailbox most of the time.
It does affect our intimacy. There's the division in the bed now. He goes on his side, I go on mine.
My worst fear is that I'll never get past where I am right now.
I would guess that we owe approximately $40,000.
Freedom is one thing I don't have right now. I'm like a prisoner of my own debt.
If Gail isn't able to help us, I'm really not certain that we can survive.
This month, I'll help this couple move from red to black. I've been solving money problems for over 20 years, tackling everything from high finance to low income. I help people understand money and debt, which is still a huge mystery for most folks. And it's the #1 reason couples split up. So now I'm making house calls. Chris and Krystal have been struggling to survive as long as they've been a couple. They should be able to live on their income, but waste thousands of dollars. And they work hard to present an image they can't possibly live up to. I'm here to help them go from red to black. Well, I'm Gail Oxlade.
Hi, Gail.
And it's nice to meet you.
Krystal.
Chris.
It's amazing how much you can learn about people's spending habits just by having a look around their home.
Simple, but very pretty. Not an extravagant wardrobe. There's a lot of money going out on little things.
Appearances can be deceiving, and this couple is trying very hard to look like they are better off than they are.
It's best to go with a minimalist theme when you don't have any money to buy anything. That's what we call it, minimalist.
I've been through 6 months worth of their personal finances and had a look at their interview tapes, and I have a good idea what the issues are.
Krystal, I have a sense of you feeling like this is getting out of control. Your sense of survival is kicking in, that you're not going to go down with this ship, but you're frustrated and a little tired of being the one that's carrying the burden. And Chris, boyishly charming, but boyishly self-indulgent. I don't have a sense that you know what it costs to actually live like a grown-up.
I go to the store and I'll blow $20 on candy and junk food, and when I sit back and really think about it, I'm just like...
And I have a sense that you have a lot to lose because your greatest loss could be Krystal. First of all, $50,000 a year should be enough for 2 people to live on, but you're frittering it away. The second thing is that you're burying yourself in debt, and you're going faster in terms of acquiring debt than you are in terms of paying it off.
We often live off our credit cards.
They're banging down the door. Phone's ringing every day. They want it in 2 days.
This couple's spending is totally out of control, and it didn't take much digging to figure out why the credit wolves are at the door.
Over 6 months, you spent $660 in bank charges. You bounce checks, you get charged $30. You go to banking machines that your card does not belong to, you get charged a fee.
Yeah, I try to go, but if it's not right there, then
The
You
total
don't
number.
try to go. I look at your
I try
statement.
sometimes if I can see it. Then
I'm
I'll
not
go.
really surprised by the numbers.
Are you surprised to see that you spend almost $700 on cigarettes and candy?
Jeez.
Cigarettes and candy. Entertainment, $400 a month. Chris and Krystal's spending habits are very self-indulgent. Perhaps the most damaging habit they've developed is taking cash advances against their credit cards to pay for those indulgences. So I have figures that show that over 6 months, you took about $1,200 in cash advances, paid $700 in interest. You're spending $1,400 a month on garbage.
Now, granted, when he brings
We
home
make
the
decisions
candy,
together,
I eat it.
like
I don't care who's doing it. To be perfectly honest, I look at the numbers, it's just a matter of the numbers to me. I'm saying, what are you going to do about it? You stay on this track, and in 5 years, you're going to be $80,000 in debt.
I don't want to go another dollar in debt. Never.
Really? You'll do anything to not be $80,000 in debt.
Yes.
Not going to come whining to me later about it. It's too
No.
hard.
No, I'm not gonna whine. No.
I need your promise that you will do what needs to be done moving forward right now.
You have my word. I'm
Hey.
fully committed.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
So over the next few weeks, I'm going to give you a series of challenges to do. You come through on the challenges, I will give you thousands of dollars to help you meet your goals. Don't do what you're supposed to do, you don't get the money. I have your commitment?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Then go get me your credit cards. Coming up, it's time to lay down the law about bad habits. Whatever made you think that that was going to be a good idea?
Money, 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 money.
Chris and Krystal don't make a lot of money, but what they do have, they waste. You're spending $1,400 a month on garbage. And their bad spending habits are threatening their relationship.
We'll start fighting because we'll have run out of money. We'll have bills that we can't pay. What do you want me to do about it?
In order to buy milk, we can't pay a bill. In order to pay that bill, we have to rob another bill.
You want me to pay this thing?
After we pay this.
And they think they're failing at building a future together.
People get married, have kids, and buy a house and a car, and it just doesn't even seem that I'll ever have any of that.
Money isn't rocket science, it's discipline. So now they're going to have to live by my rules. For the next month, this couple will learn to live on a strict cash budget. No more credit cards. They'll complete weekly challenges to tackle their money and relationship issues. And if they're willing to change, I'll reward them with thousands of dollars. No changes, no money. Sometimes I make people freeze these. Sometimes I make them bury them. But for you, we're going to take a much more permanent approach. Hold out your hands, because this is the end of all this misbehavior, paying $4 fees, tons of money in interest, spending money you haven't earned yet, just being bad. Another way this couple spends money they don't have is by taking payday advances. Companies will gladly loan you money against your future paychecks at interest rates of up to 59%. It's a vicious cycle, and people often find themselves in a cash flow crunch before the next payday. Whatever made you think that that was going to be a good idea?
We just needed cash and couldn't wait 2 weeks and
No.
had to do it.
So when I put you on this financial diet, does that mean that you're going to go do another payday advance? And
No.
No.
because I have taken your variable expenses and I have chopped them in half. You now have $50 a week for transportation.
Okay.
You have $125 a week for groceries. You have about $35 a week for gifts and clothing.
Okay.
And you have a whopping $25 a week for entertainment. On top of which, I have your bank cards. I'm going to keep them. And every week when I come, you'll be able to go to the bank and get your next week's worth of money to put in the jars. You can steal from one bottle for the other,
Okay.
but you've got to get to the end of the week before you get to the end of the money. Because you're living on cash, you have to make a note of what you're spending.
If you do not know what you're spending, the money will just bleed away and you won't understand where it's gone. And you'll be required to report to me on what you've been spending your money on.
Okay.
Okay? But this is not the end.
Right.
Because the very next thing we have to do is talk about your challenge. I've dealt with most of their wasteful spending, and I put the extra cash towards paying down their debt. But there are still a few bad habits we have to deal with.
Busted.
Enjoy it. Because you know what? You're going to quit.
I knew it.
Yeah, me too. It's good though.
Here's the thing. You have some bad habits. Your challenge this week is to find ways to get rid of the bad habits completely. Bad habits like smoking, gone. Bad habits like eating out in restaurants. You're going to cook at home. Chris and Krystal are embarrassed about what they don't have. And keeping up an image has hurt their bank account and their relationship.
I feel a great deal of guilt about our friends. Tell them I'm really sorry and, I don't know, make something up. Tell them I might have to work in the morning or something. Quite often we will back out of plans, even if it's just having them over in the house, because basically all we can do is sit in the house.
So this week what I want you to do is I want you to think about how you can have your friends over, how you can entertain without spending a lot of money. Somebody brings something to drink, somebody brings dessert. You all get together, you have a great time. This is the way it was done in the old days, before we had credit cards and thought we had to go to a restaurant to have a good time. A great way to get rid of bad habits you can't afford is to replace them with good ones. Exercise instead of smoking, fresh fruit instead of candy, and entertain more at home.
I think I've lost out. I've lost out on some good friends. I've sort of been shutting them out of my life because I'm embarrassed about what we have or what we don't have.
By reconnecting with old friends, we're staying here, and we're still having a good time, but we don't have to break the bank to do it.
Thank you.
Really good. So, I mean, that's what we do all the time. So.
Yeah, the Suzuki, that's pretty good.
I'm back, and I'm ready to hear how you did this week.
We did really well. Number one, quit smoking, did that.
How's the candy doing?
Yeah, the candy's harder for me. I don't know. The candy's harder than the smoking, actually. But because I haven't found myself at the convenience store, so it's not that big of a deal.
And how was it living on cash?
Actually, it was fairly easy.
Yeah,
a lot
it was.
easier than we thought it was going to be.
I think the toughest part of this challenge was getting over their image issues by entertaining at home.
We actually had a good time.
Yeah, as the night progressed, it became easier, it became more relaxed, and stopped worrying about what people were thinking about what we had and didn't have.
So that
That's
was
what
it.
the issue is.
Why are you being judged by your stuff? Your life is so full. You love each other. So you're short a chair. That's what it boils down to, right?
I know,
You're just
but it's
short a
so
chair.
hard.
So we've managed to put the needs into place. And now we're going to deal with this monster that makes us overspend, the wants. So if you want something and you have no money, what do?
Borrow?
No! You don't borrow!
I'm trying to say the wrong thing.
No!
You have to
I want
earn
you
it.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Earn
You
it.
got to go make more money. You want a bed for Jake,
Right.
okay? You want to be able to give Krystal something for her birthday that passed.
Yeah.
So your challenge this week will be to find a way to make $100 each to buy the things that you want. You had something you wanted to tell me about Jake.
I found out that for the first time in 11 years, I have permission to have my son here with me for Christmas. And it's been a long time, so I'm pretty excited.
But the news is bittersweet because Krystal can't afford the plane ticket to bring him home. Coming up, Chris goes dialing for dollars.
You wanted it? Here it is.
Money, 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 money.
Chris and Krystal have little to show for their income other than a $40,000 mountain of debt.
I get paid on Friday. We're usually broke by Sunday.
They were wasting money on bank charges, interest, cigarettes, and candy, and were headed for hardship. You stay on this track, and in 5 years, you're going to be $80,000 in debt. I'm not going to let that happen. They've agreed to live on cash and do some challenges designed to teach them how to manage their money. If they're successful, I'll give them up to $5,000. Their latest challenge is to find a way to make the money for the extras they don't have in their budget. Are Chris and Krystal up to it?
They should earn an extra $100. So I'm on my way to my parents' house. They did have tons of stuff for me to do at their house, and they're gonna, whatever it is, they're gonna pay me my $100 to do it. So, I'm doing it.
So we're just gonna put it in the garage.
Smashed. I got it, Gail. You wanted it? Here it is.
The only idea that I could come up with was to take on an extra shift at work. And I managed to score a shift in banquets, so I'm gonna get salary plus tips. So I'm excited. I don't know how busy it's gonna be or what I'm gonna make, but it's a start.
Tell me how you did with your challenge.
Okay, well, for mine, what I did was I called up my mother. Luckily, they had things for me to do, and boards and patio stones laying around for me to move, and so that's what I did. I went
Big, strong man work?
Yes, strong, manly work. Mm-hmm. And
How'd it go?
it went really well.
Good.
Yeah, I did that, and I earned my $100.
Good. Krystal, tell me how you did.
I had gone to my boss to see if I could pick up an extra shift, but I had already maxed out my hours. So I got permission to start going around to other departments in the hotel.
Yes.
And I found one that was willing to take me on. Part of my wage would be tips, and I didn't know whether I was going to make it or not. But I'm
Right.
proud to say that I have my money in here, and I made a total of $108.31.
That's fabulous.
I actually made more tips than I did in the wages.
I see that.
And I have to say that I really felt this week was the first time in a long time that Chris and I have really been working towards the same goals. It felt like we were on a level
Good.
playing field and very together.
Yes.
So it was good.
Well, you know what? I'm very proud of you both.
Thank you.
Because you have to do extra. It takes more attention, it takes more time. And you accomplished your challenges, so that's fabulous. So this week's challenge is to spend the money.
Oh, that'll be easy.
Krystal, I know you're expecting Jake, so your challenge this week is to take that $108.21
Okay.
and go shopping for a bed for Jake
Okay.
and stay on budget. Don't spend more than the $108.21.
Okay.
Okay? And Chris, we know you have something special in mind, and we won't even talk about it. You just go ahead and go spend your $100 and do that magic.
All right. We've been looking for this exact piece. I hope she enjoyed it.
She will. She's been waiting for it for a while. Thank you. Bye.
Coming up, Krystal takes her challenge a little too personally.
It's just rubbing salt in the wounds and making me feel like more of a failure and more humiliated.
Money, 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 money.
Chris and Krystal are $40,000 in debt due to bad spending habits.
We often live off our credit cards.
The credit people are starting to run out of patience with us.
I've been teaching this couple some hard lessons. Focus their income on the things they need and earn extra money for the things they want. To drive that message home, I've asked them to spend the extra money they earned on something they fancy.
I haven't been able to get Krystal a birthday gift for 2 years.
I would love to buy a bed for my son to put in the spare room.
They'll have a chance to earn up to $5,000 if they can pull off all their challenges. But Krystal isn't too pleased with this one. Don't spend more than the $108.21.
I have been sent on a wild goose chase for something that doesn't exist. I think once you see it and it comes out of the door what it is, that is nothing that I wanted or that I would ever ask for him to sleep on. It's just rubbing salt in the wounds and making me feel like more of a failure and more humiliated.
Krystal was pretty upset about that $100 bed. But this is an important lesson about living within your means. Sometimes you have to compromise in the present and plan for the future.
The challenge about the bed was really difficult for me because it wasn't what I had envisioned. I want the best for my son, and had I known what I was going to have to purchase, I would have probably worked some extra shifts and gained the money. But that's not to say it can't happen in the future.
Exactly, and that was exactly the point. The point being that if it's not in the budget, you work for it. You weren't going to spend money you didn't have. You were going to go make the money and then spend the money. So you sort of went the whole cycle.
Yes.
And completed it, and that's great. And how does yours go?
My own challenge was to take the $100 that I made and go and purchase that necklace for Krystal that it's kind of been a long time coming.
Oh, it's very
I'm really
you.
excited to have it.
Did you get to the end of the month before you got to the end of the money?
Yes.
Good.
Yes, we did.
And how did it feel living on that budget? Because it was tight.
It was tight, but it was very achievable, I think.
Yeah.
We're very visual learners, so the jars, again, they really helped us to stay on track with that. I think
Okay.
if we hadn't had those, money would have run out before the end of the month, I
Exactly.
think.
You want to keep the jars?
I'd love to keep the jars.
Yes.
So you have accomplished staying on budget. You've accomplished your tasks.
Quit smoking.
Quit smoking. 4 weeks.
Yes.
Amazing.
Chris really surprised me. He worked really hard. You know, he cut out his candy, quit smoking, and those were little things that I didn't expect to happen.
I guess I started to get lazy, letting her do everything. So I definitely changed in that way.
So I have something for you. Equally amazing, okay? Ta-da! A big fat check for $5,000.
Wow.
Okay? And this will help you moving forward.
Our time with Gail was phenomenal, even just today. You know, she answered all of our questions, and I think just her nature alone really made it easy for both of us to learn.
A month ago, Chris and Krystal were on the verge of breaking up and feared homelessness. By following my roadmap, they've learned to live within their means, replaced bad habits with good, and have learned how to better plan for the future. But I have something else for you as well. The equivalent of a ticket for Jake.
Really?
Okay? Really. So Jake is coming for Christmas.
Thank you.